Yeah, I'm definitely the dog too. It's hairy.
Maybe you're hairy.
No, I wish.
You wish you were hairy?
No, I love being hairless.
I was going to say, that's a weird
I hate
flex.
hair.
And welcome back to another installment of the Pals Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ricky Liordi.
And I'm Danielle Galarno. Danny Galarno. Rebrand Danny.
Danny's having a rebrand. What did we say your new
It's
Insta should
officially
be?
Danny.
It's officially Danny. Is it available?
I didn't check.
We should really check that.
Well, it's added to the to-do list.
Yeah, welcome back to the Pals. Danny, who did we have this week?
We had Oliver Cronin on, who was so much fun. I think it was just like such a fun episode to do.
It was. It really was a
And-
fun one. You know, I fell asleep early the next night when we were supposed to go out with him at 12 a.m. And I just fell asleep early.
Yeah, it was.
He even hit me up. He's like, yo, this is the time. This is the spot. I woke up in the morning. I was like, fuck.
I was going to ask you because I knew you were out at like events, but you were
I went to bed
home
early.
pretty early.
Yeah, I went to bed at like 10 a.m.
I was last
10 p.m.
week. I was in bed. I would finish work probably at like 6:37, maybe 7:30, depending on the night. Get home by 8:30. I was in bed. I physically, my brain, nothing was working.
Yeah, it's your
Like
tax
nothing
season.
was working.
Well, actually, we need to do our catch-up episode. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, beginning of May. Next week. Oh my God, this week. This is
That's what I mean. Literally.
May 1st is coming up, and I'm gonna be so happy because tomorrow's April 30th, and I'll be done tax season, and I will be
April 30th.
Yeah, sorry, today. And I will be the happiest person in the world, and I will be back to great energy because that wasn't always the case the past couple months.
But that's okay. Okay, back to Oliver. He's
Australian singer. He's been to Toronto a lot, though.
Yeah, he's got family just outside of the city. He's on like a press tour, so we were actually really glad we got to sit down with him because sometimes you have episodes, and we were on a very hard time limit here. And sometimes when you have those episodes when you're on a time limit, our podcast sometimes can take a little bit long to get going. But I feel like we got right into this one. Like from the start, it was like bang. Instantly.
And you'll even hear it too. Like he got shit on by a bird walking into the studio, which we talk about at the beginning. But it's just so funny, and like his energy was great. I feel like we were like
great guest.
Yeah, great guest.
He was great. And again,
so
you can tell someone, even though he's never really done a podcast before.
This was his first podcast.
Yeah. So Oliver, you fucking killed it, man. Thank you for being a great pal. Thank you for being a great guest. Danny.
I think that's it.
All right. Let's fucking go.
Woo! So actually, there's a music festival in Montreal, Osheaga. So the brand made specific socks just for the music festival.
They're dope. I need me.
But I got them for free.
You know what would make them even dope? Actually, no, that's a lie. But you know those socks that have like just the toes? They have the...
No.
You never seen them?
Yes, I have, but no. People
My friend...
they terrify me.
Oh yeah, they're so scary. My friend was over one day and he took his shoes off and I was like, scared the fuck out of me.
So I'll never forget my gym teacher, not my gym teacher. He was one of my teachers in high school. And he was a big runner. And he got these like shoes, but they were like toe shoes.
Yeah, the toe shoes are the worst.
So and apparently it's like your grip on the ground. It's better for you, all this kind of stuff. So he would wear them. So lunchtime would come around and he's going for a run on lunch. And he comes out with these like toes, and I'm like, "Can you go back into the class?" Like, I
think that's what they use for the like underwater shoes too. It's like the same thing. And not only do they have the toes, but they're really ugly like colors.
Oh, they're awful.
Even like imagine how sweaty those little like indents are, like with your little. This is a random story. So I went to Hawaii to model pickleball shoes. Maybe like a month ago.
Fire? What? Wait. What are pickleball shoes? I've never played pickleball before.
You gotta start playing.
I know. It looks so fun.
If you were here for longer, I'd take you to come play because it's the best sport. Well, I say that just because I'm invested in pickleball. But so I went to Hawaii to model pickleball shoes. Right. And they told me like, hey, by the way, like you're going to be modeling like flip-flops and sandals. Just make sure your feet are well manicured. And I'm like, well, I just ran a half marathon. Like I got 2 black toenails. They're like, oh, don't worry. We'll Photoshop them out. Don't worry. You'll be fine. I'm like,
pickleball shoes. Oh, no. For the sandals.
After,
yeah. Gotcha.
So I get there. We do this pickleball stuff. Now it's like, okay, guys, put on your flip-flops, your sandals. And I'm like, I go to put them on. The lady looks at me. She's like, yeah, Ricky, I think you can sit this one out. Like you're good. Like don't even worry about it. I was like, oh man.
But also as guys, I feel like I mean maybe I'm unhealthy for this, but I don't look after I look after my toenails, but I don't like make sure they're like properly like manicured at all times, or like maybe that's bad. Maybe is that bad?
No, my feet are ugly. I can't talk.
Yeah,
like my feet look like the Hobbit.
As you get older, I feel like it's become more normal, and it's normalized for guys to go get pedicures. And once you start, you're not going to stop.
I've never had a. Is that a pedicure with the toes?
Yeah. Once you
I can tell you've never had one. Is that what it's called, a pedicure?
Yeah. I've never had that.
Once you go, you'll never stop.
I want to like do they massage it?
Yeah, they do everything.
But the problem is they use this thing where they scrub.
No, they don't have to. It's only if you have really bad feet. So if they're doing that to you, it's because you have badass fucking feet.
Danny, you've seen my feet. I have the ugliest feet ever.
My feet are perfect.
Especially if you run marathons, and that's.
I said if I needed money, I would be on Feet Finder tomorrow. Because there's got to be a market for people who love really ugly feet. Like,
apparently
really
there's
ugly.
a market for everything on there. So
fair enough. Well, I presume we're
Oh
yeah, we're rolling here. We're good.
Hi.
You got shit on today.
I got shit on. Literally shit on.
Literally shit on.
Hence why I'm wearing a brand new fresh Pals, which it was all planned, to be honest. I just pretended to get shit on.
The bird was a paid actor.
The bird was a paid actor. And it was the left shoulder. So
good luck.
So it's gonna be a great episode. Yeah, but I got shit on literally just outside. Thought I'd be like a tourist and take a photo of the the beautiful surroundings, and stood under they got heaps of wires here. I got shit on. I've never been shit on.
This is what happens when an Australian comes to Canada. Eh? He's taking a picturesque photo and boom, get shit on.
Yeah.
Is your first time in Toronto?
No, it's probably like my third or fourth. I'd like to say I have family here.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, my long story short, my uncle moved from England to Canada and started a family here. So most of my family are here is in Ottawa, I believe. I haven't seen them in a while. So hopefully they're still in Ottawa. I hope they
listen to this right now and they're like, you better come visit.
Yeah, you better be. Yeah. And then I have a cousin in Toronto, so I've been here with my family, and I was also here same time last year, doing some work and stuff. So yeah, it feels like home now, especially because it's very similar to Australia. Toronto is.
Yeah, I've never been to Australia.
It's you go to Australia and you're like, oh, this feels like home. Especially Melbourne. Toronto and Melbourne are like the same city. My manager's from Melbourne. I'm from Sydney, and he's like wigging out. He's like, this is literally.
So
home.
one of my best friends, she met her boyfriend in Toronto, and he was here on visa. Anyways, he got sent back because his visa was done, so she moved there with him. So now she's been gone. I think it's been like 2 years now.
Yeah, you get addicted to it if you go to Australia.
I don't think she's ever gonna come back.
No, you wouldn't.
Do you want to go to Australia soon?
Yes.
Is it on your list?
You guys need to go to Australia.
I'm going at Christmas this year.
No way.
Oh yeah. Ricky has a
Whereabouts?
friend.
I'm doing Sydney and Melbourne.
Fire. I mean,
and then I just started dating an Aussie, but she lives in LA.
I should say Aussie.
Yeah.
A lot of people say Aussie.
Really?
Maybe that's just an American thing.
Yeah, not kidding. Aussie.
They say Aussie. See, more similarities.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going there at Christmas time for about 2 weeks.
Love it.
Might do 2.5 weeks.
You should go to Byron.
Is it really? Because I heard it's not kind of far though.
Well, I guess it's Sydney's in the middle of Melbourne and Byron. So
yeah. So
you can go either way. You can go either way. I grew up in Byron. That's where I'm from. So I'm biased. However, I growing up there, it's not like super cool to me because I literally grew up there. But I can see it in the eyes of a tourist, and it's really beautiful. It's a lovely spot. Good spot to just like vacation, I think.
Do you think you'll live there like when you're older?
I think so. It's a really good place to go when
you're
older. Yeah, it's like that's where it's kind of become like a good spot to like settle down.
But I feel like it's hard with what you do, like in arts
and
entertainment.
I would only do it with like older when I'm done with this and want to just retire or something. There's also a lot of like celebrities that move there now.
Really?
Like Hemsworth. He lives there.
She knows all about like celebrity and drama. She knows all this stuff.
There's like two more, and I'm blanking on them, but because they've come in, it's attracted a lot of different sort of people. And
I feel like also during COVID, I heard about a lot of people going there, like Tom Hanks, and he moved there.
Yep. I don't know if he moved
then he got
there.
Stuck.
I know he was.
I know he was stuck
bit.
for there because he had COVID. And He was like stuck in Australia for a while.
Yes.
I mean, worst places.
Zac Efron was the other one, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he was out there. Yeah, there's a lot of the mega celebrities out there.
You know what filmed in Australia?
I know.
My favorite movie.
The new one?
The rom-com.
Anyone But You.
Anyone
Is
But You.
that the Sydney Sweeney one?
Yeah.
I hate that movie.
Oh, everyone hates.
We're aligned.
Really?
She's like, it's the best movie ever.
I couldn't stand it.
I
didn't finish it. I tried to watch it on the plane over here, and I couldn't do it. I
watched it twice in theaters.
Oh, stop.
And twice since it's been out. We bought it on Prime.
She literally told me, she's like, you have to watch this. It's the best movie ever. We watched it and it's done. I'm like.
I said it's a good rom-com. It's not the best movie ever. It's a good rom-com.
That was very mediocre.
Yeah.
But did you know the fun facts?
The thing is with rom-coms these days. Sorry to cut you off, but the thing is, like, it's the same plot. There's only so much you can do in a rom-com, and
they meet, they break up, fight, they end up together.
But that's a rom-com.
What can you put in the middle?
Look at No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits. They both came out basically around the same time. It's the
but
exact
if I want to watch
plot.
a rom-com, like, they're way better than Anyone But You. I'd rather
think,
watch that again. Like,
I think they did a good job for like a rom-com that's come out nowadays.
Like How to Lose a Guy in 30 Days. Way better
10
rom-com.
days.
Whatever. Way better rom-com.
Yeah.
No, this one was good. Yeah, I'd say that's a better rom-com, but this one was good. I loved it. Yeah. I laughed.
Okay, what are to both of you? Yeah. Actually, Danny, I know you already, but anyways, what if you're gonna like cozy up Friday night, movie night, big bowl of popcorn? What are you throwing on? What movie?
The thing is, like, me and my partner don't really watch movies that much. We're big show, like our comfort spots are like shows. We love binging like Modern Family. Is like we've watched that like 7 times now.
Really?
Yeah.
So I never got into Modern Family.
Yeah, me neither.
Love it. Best
like
show.
The Office, yeah, I guess.
Office.
No, not The Office.
What do you be watching?
Oh,
reality TV.
Right now. No. Just during COVID.
I know.
Since COVID, I started on reality TV because I needed
what sort? Like there's certain reality TV.
I needed like an escape.
Okay.
From like reality.
So you
watch someone else's reality.
I watch someone else's. And it's entertaining.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
So now I just love reality TV and I love all reality TV. But if I had to watch like a real show, like my comedy sitcom show would be Friends over like The Office.
Friends, insane.
Slaps.
But like, I watch like
How I Met Your Mother. You like that?
Yeah, I watched that. I like that.
It's kind of like a.
I even watched How I Met Your Father.
Seinfeld.
Wait, I didn't even know that was a thing. How I Met Your Father.
Yeah.
Is that like based
Hilary
on
Duff's
that?
in it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
How I Met Your Father. It's based off of How I Met Your Mother, but it's just like the opposite. Not that good.
Okay, both of you. What about Seinfeld?
I've never seen it.
I've watched it just because
my
my
nana
loved
it.
it.
No, I'm not a Seinfeld guy.
Yeah.
See a couple of
It seems, but that was like the originator of that.
Well, it's also how old are you? You're still young.
I'm 22. So.
Yeah, so like
I wasn't born when that was. Exactly. What was that? When I got like late 80s or something.
That's late 80s, early 90s, and then Friends was the next big one. Then The Office. Now it's whatever Modern Family or whatever the big ones are now. But it's wild to think that like those like
it's been happening for a long time.
Oh, Friends has been done for I think 15 years now.
There's like 30 seasons or something. Crazy.
Oh, Simpsons is like 30 seasons.
Oh yeah,
Simpsons is wild. Man.
I didn't like that got into Simpsons ever.
I watched it as a kid. That was it.
No, I didn't like cartoons.
I wasn't allowed to watch cartoons when I was a kid.
What?
Yeah. I was
Why?
Like yeah.
You know what? There was a lot of things that my dad wouldn't allow, and my mom too, but they wouldn't allow us to watch. Like my dad,
like cartoons.
Like he said, Caillou.
Yeah.
Do you know what Caillou is?
Like 2 pieces of hair.
Yeah, that was based. Anyways, my dad didn't like his voice, so no one in my family. Because my sister started talking like Caillou, and she was like really like she started talking like him, and my sister didn't like it, so she couldn't watch it. But Sophia, they became more lenient, so she watched like Dora and all that bullshit. But like, I watched like real shows with my mom.
Which is the same. Like, I don't know if I wasn't even allowed. I don't even remember if I was allowed to or not. I just know we didn't.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't on in the house. Like, they didn't my parents didn't put cartoons on for me. I wasn't even like allowed to like watch, like use screens at all when I was a kid. Like, I was very much.
What the hell did you do?
I was just outside.
Okay, that's good.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was great. Like,
it's a good Australian thing too, though. Like the weather's nice.
And I grew up in the bush, like on acreage and big backyard, and I was really into sports and that sort of thing. So I was just outside, just like I'm an only child too, so I was just like in my own world.
You don't give only child syndrome though. Like you don't give that vibe. I wouldn't have thought you were an only child.
Is there a specific vibe? I guess.
Well, there is. You can meet people.
Yeah, no.
You're an only child. You're like that guy's an only child, right?
Like my best friend, like we're both only children, and I met him when I was like 2, so we kind of like used to pretend we were brothers, and like
you basically become brothers at that point.
Yeah, like we are brothers. We're just not blood related.
Are you guys still friends?
Yeah. This is my best friend. But yeah, I wasn't like the only thing. It's interesting, and I didn't even remember until my mum reminded me that I wasn't allowed to watch like cartoons or any. I was watching filmed music. What's it called? Live performances. So like when you go to like a friend's house and you bring like a DVD or something.
Yeah.
Like the only DVDs I was allowed to bring is like I think like Talking Heads live show or something like. Like I'd watch this like live. It makes sense now. It makes sense now, and I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. But I forgot about it, and then
parents
looking back,
like, you know what? No cartoons. We're just gonna play this kid.
Drill this into your brain.
Well, my mom's a musician, so she was always doing that. So But yeah, it's so interesting. I was always watching either like documentaries, or my dad's like a science writer, writes books about animals and plants and stuff like that.
Wow.
So we were watching like documentaries about that, and my mom was a musician, so we were watching music stuff.
So all very educational.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like,
and I didn't even remember this until like my mom reminded me. Like, it makes sense. It
makes
all
sense.
Came together.
When you go back home, what do your friends say? Like, seeing your success now, like, are they like, what the fuck? Or are they like, oh, we saw this coming?
It's actually interesting. Like, a lot of my close friends from back home, we all moved to the city together. So I hang out with them like every day, and it's weird. We kind of don't really talk about it. Like, I'm just like a normal guy. Like, I make music, but I also just like playing PlayStation, hang out with my friends, and
it's almost like you're with them all the time, though. It's not like you move
I almost
completely across the world, where it's like they see the progression with you every day. So it's kind of how like you're feeling. Like, you might have that moment where you're like, holy shit, but they're also with you during it.
But it's interesting because like certain people who I'm not around all the time will be like, oh my God, like, you're doing like so many incredible things. And for me, it's like, it's happening, and I'm in it. I've been doing it for so long that it doesn't feel like super incredible for me. Looking back at certain things, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that. But because I'm around my close friends all the time, I think it's the same with all of us. It's like, we kind of, it's like I talk to them about everything. So it's like, I don't know.
It's like she said, they've seen your rise, right? So it's not like they haven't seen you in 6 months and it's like, holy shit, you're just the superstar now. It's like when you see a little kid. The mom and dad sees the kid grow up every single day, so they don't notice. But if you see a little kid in a year from now, you're like, holy shit, this kid just grew a foot.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. And I think, like, I don't really, like, I don't know, I haven't been back home in a long time. Like, and just, like, spoken to friends that I haven't spoken to in a while, so I don't even know. But I always find it really awkward if that's ever comes up in conversation.
Really?
Like, yeah, I don't know how to act. Like, if someone's like, oh my God, like, you're doing so many I'm like, dang, I don't know. Like, I get really, I don't know, like.
All right, fun fact. If you're from back home and you want to make him feel awkward, just be like, hey, you're killing it right now. You're doing great.
If I knew this, I'd probably do it on purpose, like knowing.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
For sure. For sure. Like, okay, we're going to make you feel awkward now. What was that? I want to ask, what was it like your recent tour with Nessa Barrett? Like, she just kind of blew up the last few years. Like, going on tour with her.
Gorgeous voice.
Yeah, and she's beautiful too. Like, what was that like? That's got to be insane.
Insane. It was my first ever tour. Like, I hadn't done any touring. I'd played like 3-4 live shows before that whole thing, so it was so new to me, and I didn't know what to expect. And I'd heard a lot of things. I have friends who've done tours, and I'd heard a lot of things about even a support act, so, you know, how some people get treated as support and all this sort of stuff. But honestly, she was so lovely, and her team was so nice, and it was a very organic situation. It wasn't like I was put there by the label or by my booking agent or something. Like, she'd seen me remix one of her songs and she liked it. She reposted it, followed me.
See, that's a cool story.
Which is really cool. And I think because of that, her fans saw that she was actively, you know, fucking with me. So they're like, okay, we're going to.
So that's something like that I like too, especially because coming from someone like her who she blew up from TikTok. She was one of the COVID TikTokers that blew up from there, but she did have a good voice. Yeah. And she was able to use her TikTok platform to kind of switch it into her music career. So the fact that she was able to kind of see your actual talent and not have to go through like the labels and everything, because obviously that happens so often. Yeah. And that's how people get placed. But it's kind of nice that the artists that you were supporting was just organically kind of wanting you there. Yeah, it was great, and her fans definitely saw that, and she was putting me on a story during the tours, and I think and I've kind of, honestly, that changed my life. I mean, I generated a fan base off that, and was able to go on my own tour like a month later, 2 months later, and so I'm super grateful for that situation. So how was it going from her tour to your own tour? Like, I was very nervous about that, because that was like, all the tickets were sold out for Nessa. Like, it was already done. Like, and like, people, as much as, you know, they loved me, they were there to see her. So it was a little bit less pressure. Like, I had to like win them over, but at the same time, if I fucked up, they're still gonna have a good night regardless, because they're there to see her. And on my own tour, I'm like, this is nerve wracking now. So all the pressure's on me. One, I got to do like a long set, which, like, I was fucked after that tour. After the Nessa tour, we did like, it was 1 week, and I was fucked. I got like COVID after. I was done, and I'm like, and that was like a half an hour set times, and I was like, I gotta do like hour sets. I don't know how I'm gonna last. And your friends from back home are like, hey, look how famous he got. Hey, actually, a lot of my close friends from back home actually came, because I did like, not a hometown show, but it was like, Brisbane is close to Byron Bay, so I did that, and they all came. It was great. But I was very nervous going into it, and like, my booking agent's like, oh, you can sell these many tickets. I'm like, I don't think I can. But it was sold out. It was so fucking good, and I didn't realize, like, I knew I had a fan base, but I didn't realize how
good they were and how invested and how, you know, supportive they were. So it was, I just want to keep doing it.
Okay, so what's your favorite part on stage? Like seeing the fans, hearing them sing your song.
Hearing them sing a song has to be the best, I think. It's annoying. I'm trying to get better at it because I have in-ears in, like every artist does, and they're very noise cancelling, which is good because you want to kind of lock in and get in the zone. But because of that, I can't really hear the crowd. And I look back at videos, I'm like, damn, like they were like screaming every word and I couldn't even hear this. The best part is afterwards watching back the videos, because as much as it's fun on stage, I kind of like zone out. And
you're doing your job.
Yeah, I just get into a rhythm and it's like kind of just like, I'm a different person on stage, kind of. And then I get off stage and I look at all like the fan videos and like my manager's videos and stuff. I'm like, damn, this really happened. Like,
it's like that's what it looked like. Yeah, it didn't look like that from my side.
It didn't sound like that.
And you always like nitpick, and I'm like, oh, I fucked this lyric up, or I sung the wrong note here. And then looking back, I'm like, nah, this is actually lit.
Like I killed it.
Yeah.
Are you one of? I was gonna ask before she asked this. Are you one of the artists that likes the music side, like the production and being in the studio? Were you gonna ask that too?
Yes.
As soon as you started asking, I was like, fuck, this question goes before that one. But are you an artist that likes the music side, behind the scenes, in the studio, doing that? Or are you the one that just wants to be on stage, connecting with fans, and just, you know, living that life?
Both. But honestly, it was always the first one, because I never really gone on tour.
You didn't do the second one until recently.
And now I'm like, I'm getting addicted to the second one. But it is interesting. A lot of people ask me to, like, releasing a song, in my opinion, has to be the worst part of it. I don't know why, but you spend so much, like, making in the studio. That's the best part. Making a song for the first time and doing, like, being in the studio is the best part, without a doubt. Because it's like there's nothing, and then 2 hours later you have a full song, and it's like you get a first time listen to it. When you release a song, especially me, who I promote it for so long on social media and stuff, I get so sick of the song. And then, because I'm dealing with it every day, and then I release it and there's all this pressure, like, oh, I hope it does well, all this stuff, and you kind of lose that initial connection you have with the song.
Well, it's like all or nothing at that point. It's like you release it, it's like, and it could be a song that you absolutely love, but the fans might not connect to the same way, or it could be a song that you absolutely hate and they absolutely connect with, and or maybe you're just sick of it at that point, but there's so much build up to the actual release date. It's like almost you wish you could just release it the second you made it.
I know. I actually saw this video of the Chainsmokers posted it, and it said something like, listening to our song for the final time before it drops, because that's the only time the song can be ours. Like, kind of when it drops, it's not really your song anymore. It becomes other people's songs, and it's out. You have no control over it. Once it's out in the world, it just does what it does.
Well, and we've had so many musicians on the podcast where you talk about, like, that moment you finish a song and you love it and you're obsessed with it and that's yours, and you release it and it just doesn't do well, but you still love that song and you still want to play it. But when you're on tour, it's your tour, but ultimately it's not. It's the fans. It's the fans.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's that song that you love and the fans love.
And I think the true fans will always love what you love as well. Like, they can see it, and like it was a balance for that in my tour too, because there was one song that I'm over and I just can't stand it anymore. But it was like one of my biggest songs. So
which song is it?
It's called Boys Don't Cry. And it like blew me up, and it was massive. It was charting in Europe and all this sort of stuff. But the amount I promoted it and the amount, it's just, I can't stand that song. I can't do it. I can't.
Again, it's like anything you do in life. Like, you know, if you work I love McDonald's. If I worked at McDonald's and I ate McDonald's every day, I'd fucking hate it, right? Like, and it sucks because
self-control.
Yeah, okay, get out of here. You tell him self-control when he's promoting his next song. Like, hey, I've heard this too much. Back down. No, but it's so true, right? Like, you got to listen to the song and you're talking about it day in and day out. Like, think about how many of these you do when you're promoting a song. Yeah. You're doing these like nonstop every day, all day.
You know what's funny? This came to my head because I'm kind of on like a worldwide kind of like PR trip right now. So we've been doing meetings with, you know, Spotify, all like the partners and DSPs and stuff. And I'm playing them singles for the album and talking about them. And I've done about 30 meetings now. Played the same songs, talked about the same songs. I'm trying to think of new ways to talk about the songs, because it's like, it's so tedious. Talk about, like, I go from like one day we had like 4 meetings and I was playing the exact same song back to back to back with the same people, and they're like, fuck, shut up. Like,
you know what's funny? That just made me think. So like, you know, I don't know if you did this in like high school, elementary school. You had to like memorize a speech for school.
Oh yeah.
So my sister's doing that right now, and every single day she like walks on the treadmill and she just like memorizes her speech. You're basically doing that by asking you the same questions. You have your speech ready to go and you're just kind of like on robot mode saying, Okay.
But I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like to be in the moment. Like I like stuff like this because, and I prefer stuff like this other than interviews too, because interviews you kind of know there's certain questions someone's gonna ask you, and it's like, all right, what, like, and I always try and make it different because I like being in the moment and and that's what I like about this is like, you know, just chatting and being in the moment.
Thank you. That's
like,
why we do this.
Yeah. When we so we've been doing this for about 4 years now. This is episode 270
Holy
or something.
shit.
When we started, we had all these questions and we were always prepped. And then we just started going with the flow. So when we first started doing a bunch of musicians and working with the labels, they'd say, can you send us your questions? I'm like, we don't really have any. They're like, well, we need to approve them. I'm like, that's not how we do this. So we always say, give us the last session of the day because we drink. We can swear.
Sometimes.
If you want to smoke, you can smoke. Like ours is just, hey, let's have some fun. We know you've been asked about your album. We know you've been asked about the single. You've been asked about the tour.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shoot the shit. Let's talk
We're
about.
going to talk about it. But
Yeah,
let's also find out more about you.
We've had some episodes where we didn't talk about music, and then the manager comes in at the end. It's like the single. We're like, "Fuck, what's it called?" We had one, and I've told the story so many times, but we had a boy band from England come on, and we were their last press thing of the day. Right. And I was like, "Oh, do you want a drink?" He's like, "Sure. What do you got?" I'm like, "A vodka, tequila, whatever, anything." I kid you not. He pours a glass like half full of vodka, and I'm looking at him like, he's like, "Yeah, mate, we're good." I was like, all right. You see the video, like when you watch it back, you just see them chugging. We were all hammered by the end of it.
Fire.
And they were like,
what's this episode? I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline. But even
they started releasing things about like that they shouldn't have released, that they weren't going on public.
Like, when's this episode getting released? We're like, Tuesday's like, fuck it, mate. You guys are great to us. Yeah, so this is breaking news and blah, blah, blah. And the manager in the back, like, you got to cut it. He's like, no, you work for us. We're not cutting this.
So it never came out.
No, it came out.
It came out. We were allowed.
It was all good after.
We got full like permission for all of it, but it's so funny.
But that's what's so good about this. It breaks a bit of a wall and.
See reality TV, the fourth wall. This is our fourth wall.
No, but even for your fans too, like they follow everything you do. When they listen to your third radio show about the same single or the same album, they're gonna be, okay, we heard this the same answer. Like this is rehearsed. It's not. I'm not saying it's rehearsed, but it sounds like it can be rehearsed.
Okay, wait, this is kind of crazy to think, but have you ever thought about the fact that like there's probably like a fan out there who has listened to every single one of like your radio?
There's definitely more than one.
No, I know, but like radio shows and releases, like they could be out in Australia, out in Denmark.
Why are you looking at me? Look at him. She's like staring at me. Don't you think it's crazy?
No, but like out in Denmark, and they've listened to like a radio show that got released in Toronto. That got released. There'll be so many.
There'll be a lot of like, and the one thing I try and do is all the fans that are that diehard is I try and know everyone, all of them, and know their name.
That's that must be such a cool feeling.
It is. It's so cool. Like I owe them my career. Like I wouldn't be able to do this without people like that. So I always try and be, know them personally.
So, and we appreciate that. Even, and I was talking to a friend offline before this, and I said, we got this artist coming in, like he's blowing up right now. And this is the stage that we love to have people on the podcast, because you still appreciate doing these things. You still appreciate that it's part of the job, and it's what you got to do because the fans want to hear this from you. It helps you get a little bit bigger. When you've reached that major level, you're selling out stadiums, and you don't want to do this shit. Like you're just, I don't want to say you're too big for it, but you don't want to. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
But it's nice because you're at that stage where it's like your career's taking off and you're on this like metaphorical rocket ship.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's going up. You know where it's going. It's such an amazing experience because you're still humble enough to appreciate those fans that have been around from day one, but you're still excited enough to know that you're on this crazy trajectory that's going to bring you to the moon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope that I can stay as much like this as possible. I mean, I hope, like, obviously people,
we'll let you know next time you're in Toronto. If you don't come on, I'm fucking bashing.
No, I'm coming back.
Oh, his head's too big now. I'm back. This will be great.
That guy, if you don't play pickleball with Ricky and come back on this episode, you're literally done.
Pickleball needs to happen.
We're going to connect offline.
Yeah, we're going to do this.
I know people in Australia that play too.
All right, you got to hook me up. I need to try and do this. But yeah, I love, and I want to be as I said, like I owe the fans everything. And one thing I always try and do is I want to be as real as possible and want to be as relatable as possible. I don't ever want to be an untouchable superstar. You never know what happens, but
never say never.
Never say never.
I don't think Taylor Swift wanted to be untouchable either. Yeah, right? Like that wasn't her goal.
Of course, but
it's everyone's goal.
Yeah, I mean,
like why are you doing something if you don't want to be the best?
Because you love it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you still love it, but you're still like they're still in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Good conversation point that.
Well, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You've got an album and you fucking love it.
Yeah.
You love it, love it, love it. This is the best album you ever wrote. and your label says, no, you know what, we did our market research, we did our testing, and it's just not it. Go back to the studio, re-record, and figure it out. What do you do? Wait, be careful before you answer this, because you might get yourself in trouble with the label. I'm kidding.
I run this shit.
Cue Beyonce.
No, I don't think that would ever happen, but because I know that if I am truly, in love with an album and I know I've made my best work, then the relationship that I have with my label and my team is, if I believe, they'll believe, and we have a really good relationship like that.
That's a well-rehearsed PR answer, right?
It's actually, you know what's crazy? I've never actually had like PR. I've never had
really?
PR training.
Never?
No, I've just like done it and just.
They've never been like, hey, these are the things you say, these are the things you don't.
Not really.
You're really natural.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Mike, Dave
why
gave us a heads up. Dave said you're solid.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
Dave, yeah, big shout out to Dave.
But you know what's interesting?
He paid me to say that.
I'm a big manifestor, right? I'm a big believer in manifestation. I have a tattoo of manifest, but I do things in my head 25 million times. Like in the shower, I'm performing in front of 50,000 people, and I just manifest things and I replay things over and over in my head. So right now, this situation, I've done this like 25 times before in my head. So hence I'm rehearsed, but just not technically put to practice. Like I think this is probably my first ever podcast. I think.
You know what's really funny? I googled it, and to find, like, you type in podcast and interviews show up. And I was just like, has he not done a podcast?
No,
are we taking your podcast virginity here?
I think so.
First time you've been shit on. First podcast.
This is a big day.
This is a big day for you. Big day.
And you know what's crazy? I'm really glad I'm doing this just for myself too, because sometimes I look up like Oliver Cronin interviews and I can't stand it. I don't have much out there, and what's out there is like from 3 years ago, and I can't stand it. Like
we're gonna do our best to make sure this episode blows up.
Please blow this up. When they Google it, this is the first one that comes up. Please. And you don't have
the
to
podcast
go through,
that's not an interview, but kind of.
And you don't have to, if you're watching this and you're hearing this, you don't have to go through and look at all the old interviews. Seriously, it's
just listen to this one.
Just listen to this one.
Stop here.
Yeah, please.
I fucking love. But I'm actually big on manifesting, and this 2024, I've got two really crazy examples. I wanted to go this Christmas, New Year's. I wanted to go on a big family trip, and I said I wanted to do Hawaii or Australia. My family decided on Hawaii. A week later, I got invited to go to Hawaii. A week later.
Australia? Oh.
No, to Hawaii. Oh. And that's where we decided. Right. So I'm going to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii in March. 2 weeks later, I'm like, you know what? Okay, family trip. We're going to go to Australia. Don't I meet an Australian chick? And I'm just like,
meant to be.
This is wild.
That's
like
it.
I've just manifested. There's like so many little things. I'm just like, this isn't supposed to just happen like that. Like that this just fell into place.
Once you see it happening, you're like, oh, this is like real. Like,
I've coined something called leprechaun syndrome. It's like, like lucky boy, lucky girl syndrome on TikTok. Leprechaun syndrome. It's when you're happy and things just get lucky for you, and you always just find the pot of gold anywhere.
And I think a big part of that is because if you're happy, you can only see the good things that are happening.
So here's another good example. Whenever anything bad happens in my life, I accept it because I know something really good's gonna happen.
Yes.
Whenever something really good happens, whenever anything good happens, I'm just like, more good things are gonna happen because I'm on this good thing. And like, you don't think about the bad. Like, even when something really shitty happens, you're just like, well, fuck, I just had 10 wins in a row. Yeah, I gotta take this L, Yeah. But it's fine because 1 L means I've got 9 more wins coming in a row.
Yes. And I'm a big believer of everything happens for a reason as well.
Me too. Like, that's my biggest thing.
And I'm a big believer in that something massive always happens when you're at your lowest, like it's around the corner. Like a big believer in that, and that in my career, that's kind of been how it's worked. Like I've been through so much shit, and then the right around the corner is great.
So give us an example of that.
I struggled a lot early on with my team and my label at the time. Well, I mean, same label but different team, and different management and everything, and it really tested me. I was going under a different artist name. I was making more rap focused music. I was just a completely different artist. And yeah, I wanted to quit music. I hated it. It just was a shitty situation. But I knew that I would go through this and come on the other side, and it would be as good as it would ever be, and it did. And because I think that's a big thing with people in like the entertainment industry in particular, where a lot of people, it gets really hard and then they stop and they give up, because I'm like, I get it. Like I wanted to give up, but the people who persevere and get through to the other side, there's always that light. There is always the light.
Because it's always easy to stop something because there's always another option.
Of course.
There's always
especially in
option.
entertainment, where at the start there's no money in it.
And there's no glory.
And
you're performing for 10 people in your mother's backyard.
So it's very, like, I get it. Like, I get it. But yeah, for anyone watching this and is going through that, there's
two things that like remind me of that. So the first is that quote, "This too shall pass," right? Like it's such a famous old quote.
Yeah.
But the second thing that reminds me of this is the guy who won the award at this Country Music Awards, Best New Artist, Jelly Roll or something.
Yeah, Jelly Roll.
So his speech, he said, "Here's a reason why the rear view window is bigger than the windshield because there's a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror because what's ahead of you is always bigger than what's behind you," right? And something like that. I butchered it, but he's
got a crazy story too.
And his is crazy. Like he's fucking 40 and won Best New Artist.
He was in jail for like
drugs, alcohol, like mental health issues, like substance abuse. Like his story is insane. And like face tats, like he's like a white rap look. He looks like a white rapper.
Yeah, and he sings angelic country songs. Yeah.
And he's killing it. And you're just like, man, that's
incredibly
fucking
killing it. Yeah.
See, I didn't know any of this. I've honestly just seen him blow up. He's all over my TikTok, all over my Instagram, all over anything I see. I didn't really look into it.
But you know what's crazy about that too is the whole like industry planet thing. Like people. It's funny because I gain a lot of fans off the Nessa tour, and a lot of them, like, I love them all to death. But a lot of them are like, oh, like, we've been here from the start, from the Nessa tour. I'm like, oh, it was 5 years before the Nessa tour. Like, I'm telling you, this is not the start. But it's interesting. It does still feel like the start, to be honest. But it is interesting how people will see that major success and not realize everything that's gone into, like Jelly Roll, all that past.
There's so much more than just what we see right now. And me and Ricky were just talking about this. I have a friend who's been in the industry for 10, 15 years. But that just themselves now are actually putting themselves in front of kind of like the camera as like the face to the talent. And it's like you don't see the behind work sometimes.
No. The big one is Fred again as well. Like obviously
insane.
He's like the biggest like EDM DJ, whatever you call it, house producer right now. But I feel like not a lot of people realize that he was making like big Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber songs like 20 years ago.
For like the last 10 years.
Everyone,
It's just he only started doing it under his name. But you see his first show. He did a video. So he's been around for what, 2-3 years now? Maybe 2 years.
Probably longer than that.
No, like as Fred again, like thing.
Maybe like 3.
So maybe let's say 3 years because it was not pre-COVID. It was post-COVID.
You're right.
So or during COVID. So his first show had like 200 people, and he had like a picture, or a video, and you see there's like 200 people, and then he's headlining Coachella. 16 months later.
You just posted about that, right?
It was recently. Like,
I've seen
16 months later.
Yeah.
Okay, but I also thought that was the best thing that ever happened because that was the whole Frank Ocean situation when they had to replace Frank Ocean. So they replaced him with Fred again. And that was like the most insane thing ever. That Fred again, who didn't even have a concert tour. Like he was playing at History in Toronto, which great venue, but it's what, 1,500, 2,000 people? Most artists that were headlining Coachella would be playing Scotiabank or Rogers Center.
Well, most artists that headline Coachella have been around for 10 fucking years.
Yes.
Because it is the biggest stage in the world, possibly, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, question you: what is the biggest stage? Like, what stage would you want to play on? You can play any.
What's your dream?
Coachella, headline Coachella. I was just there. I just did for
you did?
Oh really?
I did Coachella for the
week
first
one
time.
Or
week
2?
One.
Week one.
It was a very.
That's a good weekend.
It was an experience.
Coachella's sick.
It's sick.
Have you done it, Danny?
No.
Oh, Coachella's sick.
Yeah.
I can't do it now.
I was safe to say that I'm not going to go back and cyberperform. It's just like a lot. Makes sense, It's like a lot. Like we stayed for Lana Del Rey. It was the headliner on the first night.
Insane.
It was great. It was
Billie
great.
Eilish too.
I didn't stay for that long because I know.
I'm not even gonna.
I know.
Come on.
So, but see, like we were fucked.
You can't justify this, man.
I know.
This is like,
I'm not justifying that because I do regret that. I know. I'm not trying to justify it because that's a regret. But at the same time, we had a driver coming and like we were already late and
we're trying to justify it right now.
Yeah, I know. But
you're not gonna win.
We took like 3 hours trying to find our driver. Like the whole situation.
I heard the walking's like insane.
And by this time we got there early so we could, we got there really early. We got there at the very start.
Yeah.
We had to see people, meet certain people, and
you're there for like 10 hours.
And there's even though we were in like guest area or whatever, I was like, oh, cool.
You're cool shit.
No, it's LA. Everyone's in guest area. It's LA.
Everyone that like I see on like podcasts or like TikTok, everything. They're
everyone
like
has artist bands.
Everyone's everyone, but people forget about the other 20,000 people who are actually there as regular
20,000?
Whatever.
The festival does like
300.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. 100,000 people who are there as regular people. Then count maybe 200,000 of those as influencers and VIP. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like there's still another 100,000 people of regular folk.
But I thought because we were in like guest, which it was very nice, much nicer than the GA area. I'll give it that. I'm grateful for that. But I thought we'd be able to get like buggies everywhere and stuff, which you can. But because everyone's trying to get buggies everywhere, it's really hard to. So we were walking from one side to the other, and you're fucked. Like my feet still hurt, and it was 2 weeks ago.
So I was listening to Travis Kelce and the New Heights podcast, and Jason was like, oh my God, like, why would you go? Like, don't your feet hurt? Like, that's like my biggest nightmare. And Travis was like, no, like the walking's fine. Like, no issue.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're with fucking Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
like,
what do you mean?
What are you walking?
Yeah, you aren't walking anywhere.
But he's like, yeah, the view wasn't good from the artist area. So we went to VIP and just watched from VIP.
That is
and I'm like,
true,
you know what? That's
though,
nice.
You
like, it's kind of.
You get a much better view in GA.
The fact that like Taylor Swift, though, was able to go.
I mean, she's probably got like 8 security just like surrounding her at all times.
Oh yeah.
Well, so you even see the clip with Paris Hilton. She mimicked her security, like, because last year she was like running away from him, and this year she mimicked it like as a joke, having her security like follow her, and he's like this big like 6'5", and he's just like,
that's hilarious,
chasing after her through Coachella, and like you can't chase after Paris Hilton.
I mean, it makes sense. So okay, we talked about dream venue. Who's your dream artist? Any artist, dead or alive, to collab with?
Changes a lot. I like have a lot of favorite, but probably Justin Bieber. It's probably like
Toronto.
Yeah.
You're in the right city.
Hey, make it happen, Toronto.
I mean, you got bird shit on recently, so it's good luck. You never know.
Probably Justin. I mean, I feel like it's everyone's.
That's a good one. Yeah. Like you can't. He's one of the most talented musicians. Yeah. Like unpopular opinion, I've seen him live perform. Like maybe 7 or 8 times. He's not my favorite performer though.
Really?
And I've never seen him.
Did you see him at Coachella?
I didn't. Well, I saw photos of him at Coachella. Okay. I didn't physically. I did see him at Coachella.
He was on stage.
I'm tripping. I did see him at Coachella.
He went on stage for like one song.
Yeah, Thames was like my favorite act at Coachella. She was incredible. And she went out Justin and Wizkid. Yeah, I'm tripping. And that was a crazy
You
moment.
almost made me question. I know. Like, am I thinking of the wrong year?
I saw it and
Danny was just about to fucking kick you off the pod.
I couldn't hear.
She was close.
I was like,
no, I was a lot lapsed in. Yeah,
it's okay. It's a long weekend.
Yeah,
don't worry.
I had a high noon. But I couldn't hear him because everyone was like screaming their tits off, which was it was cool. It was a great moment. I was like, night done, night made. It was great. But yeah, because of the walking and stuff, we couldn't see like everyone.
It's a mission.
Yeah.
Like even if you're if you lose a friend, goodbye.
Oh yeah,
goodbye.
It's a wrap. Yeah,
like,
there's no reception.
No phones work. No phones work, and they can't figure this out. Like again, come on, have like cell phone internet.
You're in the
boosters.
desert.
Have boosters. It's fucking 2024.
Yeah. I know. Get like a good sponsor. AT&T, come on, sponsor Coachella.
You've already spent like billions on other shit.
Like, it's probably got it. That festival probably costs like $1 billion to, maybe not $1 billion, but it probably costs like $200 million to run.
A good chunk of money, that's for sure.
Well, just think about how much they probably pay the headlining artist.
Yeah, a couple 20.
See, I feel like how do they like profit off these things? I don't know.
I don't know how.
I was just thinking sponsorships, right?
Like, yeah, but sponsorships. But think about how many. Like, think about this is so different. But like, if you were going to a festival in Toronto, you'd be getting free tickets. You are a minuscule part, like your followers, compared to like these people going to Coachella.
Hey, don't disrespect me like that.
No.
Don't disrespect me like that.
You're telling me Paris Hilton's paying for her Coachella tickets? No, she's getting them for free. You're telling me Kylie Jenner and Kendall and Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber,
of the
Alex Earl and this and that. It's like, okay, yeah, Poppy had Alex Earl, but then this brand had this. Guess had.
You know what? Hey, when you make it there, let us know how it works.
Yeah, well, you be there.
When you make it there, let us know how it works.
You can come.
Oh, you're gonna invite?
I'll invite you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey,
we're my first pod. You got my podcast virginity. I can host your main stage Coachella backstage.
Okay, we'll do a podcast there.
That'd be epic.
Yeah. Do you know what we said? We've always wanted to like go like fly places and do interviews. So we do in Ontario. We have it's called the Country Music Association of Ontario. Their award show. So they invite us and we do like backstage like interviews. So little like 5.
The Junos this year.
We were supposed to go to the Junos, which is the big Canadian one.
Yeah.
We couldn't. Unfortunately. But we said like it'd be so cool to go to a festival like a major. Obviously, Coachella's way bigger than we are, but it'd be so cool to go to a festival like Coachella, just sit down there with our mics and shoot the shit for an hour before you go on stage.
Yeah, be epic. Let's do it.
You know, the problem is again, a lot of those people are too big for us little folks now, right?
You never know.
But maybe you change that. Maybe you change that for us.
I'll change it for you.
When you get there, hey, you fuckers, you're before me.
But see, when I get to Coachella, I hope by then we're all at that level together.
I
you know what I mean?
Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna manifest this together.
Oh yeah, we're manifesting.
We love happening. Well, we're nearing the end. I got a couple of last ones I want to ask.
Yeah, go crazy.
What and I love this. This is my favorite question to ask people that are very talented in their field.
Thanks.
If you weren't a musician, what would you do?
There was a couple options I was gonna.
I love how you got this ready. Go, let's hear it.
Well, I was really into cricket, into sport growing up.
Cricket? Oh, that's
cricket. You
Australian.
guys don't really do that around here.
It's massive on that. Like India is like huge.
Yeah. It's like one of, it's probably
cricket's like the third most popular sport in the world.
Yeah,
just because
like,
of really
not
India,
in North America.
Not in North America. They're really pushing for it in America. They got the World Cup in America end of this year.
Really?
Yeah, did you play? Were you good?
Yeah.
You were good?
I was really good, and that was like my whole like end of like primary school, moving into like high school. We don't do like elementary school and stuff for sure. That was like all I do. All I'd work I was working for was cricket. I wanted to play for Australia. That was my whole dream. That was where I learned the dedication and the drive and push that I'd use for my music. But I wanted to play for Australia, and that was my whole thing. And I put everything into things I love, and I started getting really into music, and I was really into cricket. And I was supposed to go play in Perth for like national championships, and I snapped my thumb playing cricket, and I never played again. I was like, this is a sign that music is the way to go.
Wow.
And so,
you know what's crazy though? You don't really hear. Well, I guess I feel like we like really talented like kind of like athletes and musicians having both sides. We haven't had that.
You're actually right.
We haven't had. We haven't had people say like, "Oh, I played hockey casually. Oh, I did this," but like, "Oh, like I was good at this."
Yeah.
I feel like one of my favorite artists is Mike Stud. I'm not sure if you
Baseball.
Yeah. But that's a one
Strowman.
I guess.
How
But I was
many
very
others?
similar
Not
with
many.
cricket. Like that was my whole journey.
Really?
It was supposed to be
So
cricket.
you teach me to play cricket, I'll teach you to play
Done.
pickleball.
Cricket's
Done.
I presume
He
cricket
used to
would
live in
be way
Toronto.
harder. Mike did?
Yeah, for a
Fire.
bit when Strowman
know
played
that.
here.
Yeah, because they're like best friends.
Yeah.
Fire. I didn't know that. Shout out Toronto.
Yeah. Danny, last one.
Yeah, what do you think?
So
You put me on. I'm just like spinning on different circles right now.
So what does the rest of 2024 look like for you?
There you go.
Hopefully more of this, more podcasts. Podcasts are fun. This is fun.
This is your one and only.
Yeah, imagine
You can't
that.
go on another
You
one.
can't go on another
Can't go
one
on another
anymore.
We'll just keep doing them.
Yeah,
A lot of music. I think my fans know me to make a lot of music, and I really want to give that to them. An album end of the year is like 99% finished now. We're rolling out the singles for it, so that's super exciting. It's my first album. I'm a little nervous for it. As I said, like releasing it's the worst part. So I'm like, it's all, like I love all the songs, and when I release it, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm really excited. It's a new chapter for me, and hopefully a tour around the album. Hopefully a lot more tours. We'll see what happens. But yeah, a lot of music and a lot of fun
And
stuff.
hopefully a stop in Toronto.
And a stop in Toronto. I love it.
That's a necessity.
I'll be back 100%.
Oh, when you come back, we're going to do this again.
He's coming back to see family, so he has to come to Toronto.
And we'll play pickleball. We'll do this on the pickleball court.
Done.
Easy.
I know a court too. I got
Done.
you.
I know you do.
But no, we appreciate you coming on. This was a
Thank you.
blast.
Thank you. This was so much
We knew
fun.
you were going to be good, but this was amazing. Thank you.
Yes, but sometimes when we have like an actual like hard stop, sometimes at the beginning it's slow to start, whatever. I feel like we really jumped into it really
we got
quick.
right in.
Oh, we got right in
And we
there.
didn't
We
have
started
that
before we
lull that
started.
sometimes we
Yeah.
have. So it was good.
Well,
No,
I
appreciate
got
you.
shot on earlier. So.
So,
Great.
you knew it was going to be a good one.
Started. Yeah.
If
Good
people
luck.
want to find out more about your music, your tour, everything, where can they go? How can they find you?
OliverCronin.com has everything you need. Or you can follow me on Instagram, Oliver Cronin, or TikTok. I think I'm Oliver Cronin on there too. Everywhere, Oliver Cronin. Just search me up and you'll find stuff, I'm sure. But just don't look at all my past interviews because they're boring.
Only this episode.
Only this episode. Yeah, you can watch this to find out everything. Yeah.
Oliver, man, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a pal.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And guys, if you made it to... Yeah, the sweater too.
Pals.
If you made it to the end of this, we appreciate you guys. Give Oliver a follow, give Danny a follow, myself a follow, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Hell yeah.
Like to drink and to smoke, take away the pain. every high.